I am 48 years old and I am broke. When I say broke, I mean $0 broke, no money. And I am burnt out to the core, and I'm done living like this. I have worked in group homes and nonprofits for over 25 years now. I've poured my heart into my job, gave it everything I got, but I'm burnt out. I don't have any more to give. Between rising costs, bills, broken appliances, I hit my breaking point. I knew I had to try something different. If you're at your breaking point, comment enough. See you later.
I don't know what most people are going through, but it would seem like there's a lot of people that have a hidden amount of issues and problems and debt. And some people own a house or they're paying a mortgage on a house, but they just so happen to be house poor. It is hitting people all across the board. And I think that the majority of it, because a lot of people don't want to really say, well, I made bad decisions and, I did some bad things in my life and it didn't necessarily translate into me having success, or I mortgaged my future by having fun right now, or, I took out a student loan that wound up costing me quadruple and I still haven't paid it off. And so a lot of times we get involved with bad decision making, but we don't want to take accountability, which I found is the first step to really getting yourself out of that situation in the first place. And so what people do is they expect to live a certain life, or they say, yo, like this woman said, I'm flat broke and I poured everything into my job. But they didn't realize that the job was just a means to an end. It was an opportunity for them to make as much as they possibly could, and then for them to translate that into a sustainable living. Contrary to popular belief, your job is not your identity. All right, I want to be very, very clear with this. Your job is not your identity. It's not your job's responsibility to make sure that you are taken care of for the rest of your life. It is your responsibility to trade in your time for money and then use that money to make sure that you are good for the rest of your life. If you are not saving when you are younger, if you are not investing when you are younger, and if you are in your 20s or you in your 30s, that is the most ideal time for you to invest in yourself. But the first thing that you have to do is take responsibility. The second thing that you have to do is you have to make sure that you lower your lifestyle. And we don't want to lower our lifestyle. We want to ball out now. We don't want to save anything for later. The smartest people only use 10 to 20% of what it is that they take in order to run up a bag. But again, people will feel entitled and say, well, it's hard out here. The rent is this much. You don't have to necessarily live in the places where the rent is that much. But let's continue on and let's see what everybody else has to say.
So I'm on Facebook scrolling in a mom's group, and the ladies are talking about the Georgia Power bill. And I promise y'all, I didn't see no comments where people were saying they bill is under $400 for 3 bedrooms or more, which is really insane. I just got a job overseas, and I can't wait to get off this damn struggle bus. Like, when you think about it, rent is already 2,000 minimum for a 3 bedroom. How are you supposed to stay afloat when your rent is that much and your utilities you looking at 300 to 400 a month each? It's
See, people don't take that into consideration. When you first get a place or you first get a house or you first want to move out or you want to go into 3 bedrooms or more. Because again, think about the context of what people are saying. 3 bedrooms or more. 3 bedrooms or more. We have way more than we ever need here in the United States of America a lot of times, but we don't pare our lifestyle down into what we need, but instead we think that we deserve this big old place or 3 bedrooms and all of that stuff. And I'm going to just tell you that that is luxury. I was talking about this on the Millionaire Morning Show, and I said that when I was coming up, my parents bought their house before they sold it and moved out into the suburbs and went and got another mortgage, which I thought was stupid at the time. But, it is what it is, neither here nor there. My parents lived in what we would now call the hood, right? And it wasn't really that bad, or at least we didn't think that it was that bad, but they owned their home. Let me say that again. They owned their home. And, we made do with what we had. My parents lived in the upstairs, which a lot of people would call it the attic, but they made it into a bedroom. And then my brothers lived in the basement. And then me and my little brother, because it was a lot of us, it was four boys, and then my mom and my dad, and then whoever it is that came over in the neighborhood. We was on the main floor, and then the kitchen was there, and you know what I'm saying. It was a small house. Like when I drive back by it, because I'm still in Detroit. When I drive back by it and I see how small the house is, but we was cool with that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't make a big deal out of it. But now people are thinking that they deserve or they have to have 3 and 4 and 5 bedrooms and all of this other type of stuff, and you don't even utilize the majority of the space that you're in. But then they'll go overseas. Like, people need to go overseas and look and live. You know what I'm saying? When they go overseas and they look and they see how they live, they'll realize that most people don't have that type of lifestyle, and they minimally have the place that they live in or they sleep in. And then the rest of the day, they out and about, they interacting. If you even go over to Asian countries, a lot of times they're interacting with each other in the park and they exercising in the park, and it's a sense of community. So the things that we experience and our expectations of this extravagant lifestyle, we got these huge SUVs and all of that stuff. That is a luxury. That is not a requirement. You know what I'm saying? So people need to come back to reality.
60 years old, still working hard as ever. This message this morning, I want to speak to the 25 to 35, maybe even 40-year-olds. And I'm speaking to your future self, not the age you are now. The 60-year-old, 65-year-old you'll be one day. If you're not already doing it, you need to be investing in your future self. And you could start with a small amount of money, but start today putting money away for the old version of yourself. You will never regret it. Compound interest will be your friend. You've got time. When you're my age, you won't have financial troubles or worries. So start today. My advice is, don't take advice from broke people like me, but learn at least from my mistakes. Go find somebody, a financial planner, advisor, maybe somebody your parents recommend, somebody that you know does well with money. Get their advice. Follow what they say. And I promise you, the 60, 65-year-old version of yourself will thank not only me, but the 30-year-old version of you. Do it. Start now.
Yeah, I think that life is way better past 40, because everything that you did in your 20s and your 30s is going to come back to catch up to you, whether good or bad. So whatever seeds that you planted, a lot of people don't even invest in a 401k. You know what I'm saying? And you don't miss it. Like, once you set it up and once you set it to basically max out by the end of the year, at first it's going to see, and it's hard to convince people because they automatically going to give you excuses as to why they can't do it. But they're going to go and get the DoorDash. They're going to go get the fast food. They're going to go get the car note. They're going to go get all of the things that they don't need. They're going to avoid ever taking public transportation because they don't want to be embarrassed. But then they don't have no money put up, and they're going to be required to work for the rest of their life. I plan on working for my entire life because I just think that that is the thing that keeps you alive. It's the productivity. It's the sense of value and worth and adding value into this earth and doing things. And it's a great thing to be able to do it. But I don't want to have to be required to, which is one of the reasons why for my entire life, I've always said that I'm only going to spend 25% of what I make on myself, and the rest of it is going to be invested. So, it's a lot of people going through things, and trust me, I've been broke multiple different times, so I understand what it's like to be there. But in order for you to get there, first, you got to change your mindset. Secondly, you got to change your lifestyle. And then third, you got to stop keeping up with the Joneses so you can make better decisions and invest in yourself. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think the sentiment is out here in the streets. I always like to give credit to the content creators, regardless of whether I agree with them or not, because it's the right thing to do. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace.